This is Six's Universe. We're going to be doing a breakdown of the playoff series, which stats are with numbers, because it's kind of necessary. Really, this is going to be about Doc Rivers and really how much blame does Doc Rivers deserve. So let's go through a couple of numbers. The first thing I want to go over is minutes per game. How many minutes I got played? Because it's taken up a huge part of the discussion here. Joel Embiid played 37.4 minutes. Steph Curry played 34.2 minutes. Tobias Harris played 38.8 minutes. He played the most minutes of anybody. Ben Simmons played 34.5 minutes. And that's even with, the late game substitution scenario. Furkan Korkmaz played 19.8 minutes. Mattise Thybulle played 19.4 minutes. Shake Milton played 10.5 minutes. Tyrese Maxey played 11 minutes. Dwight Howard played 9.9 minutes, round that up to 10 minutes. Danny Green played 19.8 minutes. George Hill played 15.6 minutes. And then the other guys like Joe and Scott just didn't really get much time at all. So what's the takeaway from this here? The takeaway is our starting lineup of Joel Embiid, Steph Curry, Tobias Harris, Ben Simmons, and Danny Green. And Danny Green's the lowest one of the five at 19.8 minutes. They play together. This idea of, oh my God, all bench unit. I don't think Thybulle, Milton, Maxey, Howard, I don't think they all got on the floor together. Not to that degree of time. So what really happened? Well, now we have to look at the production to get a full detail. We all know Joel Embiid the MVP. Steph Curry, he was playing lights out as far as shooting the basketball from the perimeter goes. And Tobias Harris was actually pretty consistent. Yeah, he had that game 4. Yeah, he had a bad game 7. But for the first 4 games of the series, 3 games really of the series, Tobias Harris was dominant. And even in game 7, it wasn't so much bad as it was not enough, But it wasn't the worst game ever. So you had some solid production for the most part out of Tobias Harris. Not what we pay him for, or rather, not what you would normally pay a guy like that for, $34 million up. You would like to get a little more. But as far as for the series production is concerned, 20 points and 16 shots. It's not that bad. Really, Tobias Harris' the biggest problem is that he doesn't get to the line. 2.6 free throw attempts in the series at 85%. If you swap Ben Simmons' attempts at the line with Tobias Harris, we would have won to the Eastern Conference Finals just on that alone. So, and I don't know. See, it's Tobias Harris the contract and then Tobias Harris the player. I can't fault Tobias Harris. Throughout his entire career, he's never really been able to break that barrier getting to the free throw line. And I know that. So should I bemoan Tobias Harris not getting to the line? Or should I bemoan Elton Brand paying the guy above $34 million? And is Tobias Harris a fit with Joel Embiid? I believe he would be if Ben Simmons didn't exist. If Ben Simmons didn't exist, he wouldn't have to replace Dario Saric. He's not going to be an above 40% three-point shooter on volume. That's unfortunate. But if Tobias Harris could exist in a world where you didn't have a guy in the dunker spot or a guy who couldn't shoot a 15-footer, if you lived in a world like that, I feel like you could get a better Tobias Harris. So I don't blame Tobias as much as I understand who Tobias has been in the NBA, and as much as I blame the contract itself. So there's that. But other than Joel, Seth, and Tobias, other than those guys, what did he get? This is where it gets ugly. We'll bypass big, tall, passer guy. Everyone has attacked, myself included. Big, tall, passer guy was embarrassing. That's all I want to say there. But let's take a look at everybody else. Danny Green was a fucking mess in that series. Can we talk about this? I've been on this train all season long. Your small forward position, it's honestly where you lost the series. No one wants to hear that, but we lost this series at the small forward position. I've been telling you this all the time. Danny Green, I love Mattise Thybulle, but he's a pure defensive specialist. Furkan, Korkmaz, we'll get to that because there's some things about his numbers that need to be put into some context. Why did Furkan get 19 minutes per game? Well, as we remember, Danny Green would go down with the injury, but the screenshot wasn't able to really capture the whole thing. But Danny Green, basically, he only averaged 3 points in the series. His 3-point shot was off, and we all know that Danny Green doesn't have any dribble drive, any ability, so it's not like he can augment it with 2-pointers. If his 3-point shot's off, his offense is zero, nada. And obviously, Danny Green, as we know from game 1, where are you going to put Danny Green on? Danny Green had some effectiveness on Herder, etc., but you can't just play a guy who's only going to give you 3 points. If he can't produce on offense, what was he going to give you? I felt that in the series, and it was a big reason why at the time when he went down, it was a series. You're just not getting production of small forward. There's nobody there. And Danny Green's one of the nobodies. So when Danny Green went down, and it was like, okay, you're choosing between Furkan, Korkmaz, and Mattise Thybulle, I don't blame Doc with the initial call because you were doing okay on defense. Seriously, we need to get over this. Our defense is fine. You needed to put the ball in the damn basket. We needed to find a way to squeeze something out of that small forward position. You needed to squeeze the lemon out of a hard rock. So I don't blame Doc initially for going to Furkan Korkmaz. This is a case where the coach goes to a guy and the guy doesn't produce. Furkan Korkmaz somehow managed to equal Danny Green and perpetuate at 7.2 points per game. Doesn't tell the whole story. I bet he had a good game 1 and it was just invisible for the rest of the series. Furkan Korkmaz just wasn't giving you anything on offense. And I can't ask Mattise Thybulle to be a scorer because I know damn straight that Mattise Thybulle doesn't score the ball. This is where we lost the series, everyone. Your small forward position is a fucking unmitigated disaster. I'll put it as simple as this. Not only do the Sixers not have a starting small forward, I don't even think they have a good bench small forward if I really think about it. Who's our Garnari? Who's our Herder? They were the best wings of the series. Bogdanovich. Basically every wing that the Hawks had, DeAndre Hunter wasn't in the series. Every wing that the Hawks had, think about that, that's 4 wingmen. The Hawks have more wingmen than we do on our entire roster. Our small forward position isn't just awful, it's pitiful. The Sixers have treated small forward the same way the Eagles treat linebackers. It's a fucking joke. And I'm here to call it what it is. We're not going to win a title until our perimeter attack is better. Because that was just atrocious. That was hideous. And then, okay, Dwight Howard only played 10 minutes. And obviously a lot of and here's the other problem. You want to play off starting 5 more minutes. You want to push them to 45-ish type minutes, etc. Okay, now what you're really talking about at that point, you're talking about a 6-7-man rotation. Not only did we not have good scoring options to begin with, but we had a lot less versatility. I mean, our real versatility, we should have went small. And if you want me to really blame Doc Rivers, this is where I'm going to blame Doc Rivers. Game 5, the game that we ended up losing a big lead in Atlanta. Or was that game 4? Game 4 we lost a big lead, and game 5 we lost a big lead. Game 4 we made a run, really be up, I believe, midway through the third quarter or in the halftime. For a very short spell, you had Ben Simmons, Tyrese Maxey, and George Hill, all 3 of them together for a very short spell. A very short spell, you had all 3 of those guys together. And you balloon the lead up to double digits. To me, now this goes way back to the beginning of the season, we had what I called a trio guard machine. You had Shake Milton, Steph Curry before he got the virus, and Tyrese Maxey. All 3 of these guys were coming off. Tyrese Maxey, of course, being the third guard off the bench. But you had all 3 of these guards playing minutes, and it was clear that the guards were the strength of your team, or the second strength besides Embiid on your team. Because as I just ran it a little bit, it sure as hell is not your small forwards. But then, after Steph Curry got the coronavirus, and after, the young guys balled out in Denver and against Miami, for some reason, Doc Rivers decided that, these kids, they play some good basketball, but nah, I'm not going to have them in a rotation. And it kind of got to the extreme where instead of 2 guard lineups, by 2 guard lineups, I mean point guard and shooting guard, you went back to, what we know, big, tall, panther guy as our quote-unquote point guard, and running only one of Steph Curry largely as shooting guard. And then there'd be times where you have Shake Milton and Tyrese Maxey, but Shake Milton would be the point guard, and it's like, stop it. It really, I don't know when it will click. There was an off-season article where Doc Rivers talked to Tyrese about learning how to run the team. So hopefully that progresses. I just want Doc to get comfortable to just end the Shake Milton experiment. Shake Milton, I think he could be a good wingman, especially if his jump shot comes back. But enough is enough with Shake Milton a point guard. Okay, enough is enough. He's not a point guard. Let's just get that out there. And George Hill wasn't productive either. And that's the other thing I want to point to. Dwight Howard, in his 10 minutes, wasn't necessarily productive. Do I think it cost you? No. I don't think it helped. Same thing with George Hill. I don't think they cost you. They just weren't productive in the small, limited time that they had. And that put pressure on Doc Rivers. That put pressure on Doc Rivers. Because it's like, again, you don't have the versatility. How many positions can George Hill play? I think George Hill could guard shooting guards, but he's not a shooting guard himself. How many positions can Mattise Thybulle play? He could guard multiple positions, but I think he's strictly a wingman. And more at that, a shooting guard with a long wingspan. Shooting guard in terms of his body height, 6'5", not shooting guard in terms of ability, obviously. Does it matter what position Furkan Korkmaz plays? I kind of agree with Bros on Korkmaz as a player. Does it really matter? So when people say all bench unit, you have to understand Doc had little to no choice. We have been on this bench Del Moy. We said it sucked. It's not like Del Moy was oblivious to this. Every fan, every media member, all of us said that the bench sucks. We all did. We all said that the bench sucks. We told them, we were seeing these games where the bench was a complete zero. Guys like shout out to Korkmaz. He made several videos. It was no mystery that this bench kicks rock. But precisely because it kicks rocks, you could give them 10 minutes, you could give them 5 minutes, it doesn't matter. You're just not getting production, and that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. So stop criticizing Doc for the fact that Danny Green shoots 33%. Shake Milton shoots 39%. Like, what is this? This is just awful shit production at the end of the day. There's nothing you could draw up for a guy's shot hitting off the front of the damn rim. I wish we had played Tyrese Maxey more minutes. I wish that we had let Tyrese Maxey play more point guard. And I'm looking forward to that, this upcoming year. But I cannot, in good faith, I cannot join this Doc Rivers bashing, and it's really just because, he blew these leads in the past, so that means that he must have blew these leads. No, you have a small forward deficiency, your bench is shit, and really, you couldn't afford to go to your backup at the center position. Do you go small ball with Ben Simmons at center? But then there's the whole FIFA line thing, etc. So Ben really let you down by being unable to score the ball, being unable to be an offensive player himself, and being unable to convert to the line if they're going to send you to the line 6 times a night. A lot transpired in this series, and maybe 15% of it Doc could have had a hand in. That 15% is not excessive for me. The 85% roster, I need a better small forward guy. I couldn't believe that we signed Danny Green. Am I going to have to subject myself to watching Danny Green stand at a corner again? Are we really going to have that? Like, what am I watching here? What am I watching? Danny Green at the corner. It's not like Steph Curry has the versatility in his size of 6'2". Nothing against him. It is what it is. I'm just looking at the roster for what it is. Until we get a better wingman next to Joel Embiid, we are basically playing with a hand behind our back as it pertains to the Bucks, Nets, Lakers. We got to get a perimeter upgrade, or put ourselves in the position to get a young player who could develop into said upgrade, because Furkan, Mattise, and Danny Green is not cutting it and will not cut it. Period. Long story short, I like the offense around Joel Embiid and Doc Rivers. I feel like Doc Rivers unlocked MVP Joel Embiid. I feel like Doc Rivers and Joel Embiid have a great player-coach connection. After losing Jimmy Butler, we need to finally start building around Embiid. So if Doc Rivers unlocks an MVP Embiid, you keep Doc Rivers, and if Doc Rivers wants to have a deep bench, and for the love of God, don't draft 3-and-D players like Jaden Springer. Draft some scorers for the bench. Trade Ben for help on the bench, etc. Or a spot starter who can actually dribble drive. If Doc Rivers wants a deep team, then try building a deep team. But don't sell Doc Rivers on Danny fucking Green. Like, come on. So there are things Doc can improve on. But this roster right now, it's a mess. Is George Niang going to help out some of this? Yeah, you're going to get a better backup behind Tobias Harris. But, maybe B-Ball Paul could have been that. I don't know. The next video I upload, we're going to be going over Tyrese Maxey's shot mechanics. They have greatly improved. I feel like Tyrese Maxey is going to be a good shooter this year, and he will have an open opportunity, in my opinion, to crack the rotation. This is Six of the Universe. I just wanted to, one final time, go over the series and go over why I don't hold Doc to blame and I don't have a fire Doc Rivers problem. I have a small forward is a fucking mess problem. And that's all. Six of the Universe. signing off. Peace.